title of my message is "It's Working Out for My Good." And my message is coming from Romans 8:28 in the NIV. And we know that all things work together for my good, to them that love God, to them who are called to his purpose. Both his good and our good and God's glory. His people will benefit. I'm reminded several times my mom would often say in negative situations that we were prompt with, that all things are going to work out for my good. Could not always understand that because it always appeared negative. And she's always impressed that we must trust God for the outcome, even in the wilderness, for my good, to develop our character, our image, that we be made like Christ. You say, glorify God. Glorify God how? In a negative situation. Do we understand that God is always knowing, always wise, and always powerful? In this text, God is always sovereign, and he's involving the process. He's involved in this process. In the word, it explains that we can learn some important things about because he has elected us. For those God foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son and to have the character of Christ. I'm going to give a definition. The fact that God predestined those he foreknew, predestined, the definition of an outcome or course or event determined in advance by divine will or faith. Our past, our decision, and determined in advance. That means that God already knew. He knew what we would even face. He knew that our day would begin. However it began, whether we began it in prayer, whether we begin it in a negative situation, but we woke up. We're breathing on our own. I see nobody with oxygen. I see everybody seeing somebody walk through the door. No one guided you. I see, well, maybe you might have had a hard time at work. Maybe you were given an assignment you didn't expect. But did you understand that God was working it out for your good? And even in life that we might have been dealt, well, I don't have the car I want. I'm not living where I want to live, but you're living. You're breathing. Nobody was dressed this morning. No one dressed you. You had the mind to dress yourself. You had the mind to put on some clothes. You had the mind to even give God thanks. You praised him even in the midst. Did you get fired today? Did you lose your job? Did you lose your benefits? But we didn't lose God. Sometimes they say when movies are written, the end was written at the beginning. And I'm only here to convince you that God has already written our end. And at the end, we win. We win. We're conquerors. There is no failure in God. There is no loss. Nothing is wasted. God leaves, the school system used to say, not leave no child behind. He leaves none of his children behind. He's always sovereign. He knows the beginning at the end. He knows it. He already knows it. And we must understand that it's in his control. It's in his control. Whether someone thinks, oh, I'm the boss, I'm the supervisor, I call the shots, I write the checks, I sign the checks. I determine whether you get that job. I determine whether you have 8 hours or 40 hours or 80 hours or no hours at all. Foreknew, the definition, be aware of an event before it happens. Isn't that amazing? God has the upper hand. He already knows. He knows your enemy. He knows the plot and the plan that I was told that the enemy has after us. But he knows that he has given within us the power to take authority over the power of the enemy and cast it down and hold fast to the confession of our faith, not wavering. Don't wave. You might not see it, but don't be fooled by your senses.
To watch the rest of this powerful message, download Panorama's app, which is available in all app stores by searching Panorama Christian Center. Create an account to stay connected with Panorama Christian Center. One word from God will change your life. Blessings.